Even if we had the same resources to combat the fires as them up in the pillars, we'd still be fighting a losing battle. You've seen the Broom. All them narrow streets with wooden houses crammed together. It's kindling is what it is. Just as Sir Amric risked his life to bring about lasting change, so too will others wager all to preserve what they hold dear. The Archbishop may have fallen, but the legacy of his predecessors endures. Louisoix once told me that man is all too willing to let his future be bound by his past. In time, and time after time have I witnessed how depressingly right he was. Against the dying of the light. Lucia would begin the hunt for the arsonist without delay. The flames are spreading. We must needs begin our investigation immediately. Witnesses must be found. Suspects must be identified. Have you been able to determine the precise locations where the fires were set? Mayhap there is a pattern. If there is, we have yet to discern it. Fires have been reported throughout the city in both the pillars and foundation. Indeed, given the size of the area affected, I think it best to divide our forces. Master Alphino and Mistress Yistola, I would have you take charge of the investigation in foundation. As you wish. Mayhap Tataru can be of assistance as well. Leaving Lavenza and me meaning Lavenza and me get the pillars. Oh, and they'll like me up there. Only they'll like me up there. I guess she's being sarcastic. Only question is, will the grizzled old rogue striking a pose over there be joining us? Thancred of the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. And may I say what a pleasure it is to meet you too, my lady. Hey, hands off, she's mine. I'll bet. The name's Hilda. A scion, huh? And there I was thinking I had found a fellow ruffian amongst all these illustrious personages. I will remain here to coordinate the fire-quenching effort. If you learn aught of value, pray inform me immediately. That is all. While we could begin by sifting through charred rubble and questioning random passerby, in my experience, every town has at least one individual who can be counted on to know things he or she should not. Oh, aye, the infamous Lord Emmanuel de Forton, lover of women and wine, though neither care for him that much. They say he could gossip for Ishgard. Just the sort of fella I had in mind. Capital suggestion, Lavenza. He'll be at the Crozier most like, making an effort to be seen. So let's go and see him. Grizzled I will accept, but old? Ugh. Yeah, I don't know exactly how old Thancred is supposed to be. I know he was still effectively kind of look the same back in 1.0 when Minfilia was just a young girl. Although I think technically Minfilia is supposed to be kind of young still. Well, go on then. Talk to the daft sod. Someone once said that a gentleman is rather than does. A gentleman is rather than does. Okay. And in Lord of Manaline, I sense we have living proof. I assume that saying is kind of more talk than doing or being, as it were. Ah, Mr. Shark, I fear Lord of Manaline has once more strayed from the path. As has so often been the case, his renewed enthusiasm for martial training gave way to frustration and disinterest at the first sign of difficulty. I kind of know how that is. Well, well, if it isn't Lavenza, dearest of all my friends. You're looking rather glum. Something the matter, old girl? Well, yeah, a friend of mine was just stabbed. Ah, yes, the arsons. Dreadful business, that. And awfully curious, wouldn't you say? There doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it at all. Naturally, we've doubled the guard outside the manor, along with most of the other houses. Can't have the old pile going up in flames, after all. Oh, in case you were wondering why the Hoplon is awash with refugees, the lower levels of the vault have been open to those unfortunate souls who have lost their homes. Sir Emmerich's orders, from what I hear. Remarkable man, not even a knife in the ribs can keep him from his duties. Actually, old girl, I'll never get used to that, and I'll never like it. If you were thinking of questioning the refugees, I should be more than happy to accompany you to the Hoplon. While you conduct your inquiries, I could offer words of comfort to the distressed and despondent young maidens. Jeez, man. Wait a moment. I know what that is. You're giving me one of your looks, ain't you? Or aren't you? You do me an injustice, old girl. I will have you know my heart yearns for but one rose, prickly though she may be. I sense you remain unconvinced. Very well. If it will help you to prove the purity of my intentions, I shall gracefully rescind my offer. Now run along and catch those arsonists. That was not entirely what I had hoped for. Whose idea was it to come here again? Never mind. For our next step, I suggest we divide our forces. While you question the refugees in the Hoplon, Lavenza, I shall investigate the locations where the fires were set. Would you be so good as to join me, Hilda? You know what? I reckon I would. Can't have you roaming about in an unfamiliar city by your lonesome, can we? You'd only get robbed blind and left shivering in your small clothes. My lord is a gentleman of unassailable principles. To assail them, after all, one would first need to locate them. Man, the writing in this is really good. I shall detain you no longer, old girl. Good luck with your investigation. The old girl thing still bugs me. I probably should have taken the Aether net, but oh well. Come, my brothers and sisters, there is food and shelter enough for all in the basilica. Halone's blessings be upon you, Father. I confess we were not sure if we should come. There are so many unbelievable tales these days about the Archbishop and Sir Emmerich and the Dravinians. Trust in your heart, brother, and pay no mind to the lies of lesser men. They seek only to lead you astray. Do you require succor as well, miss? So the Temple Knights have begun their investigation at last. Good. This madness has gone on far too long. Would that I could do something to aid you in your search, but I have a duty to these poor souls. Farewell, and may the Fury guide your steps. Isn't this the dude that pushes the girl off the roof? If I'm remembering correctly. There was a man with a satchel. I saw him kneeling outside the window, and then there was smoke everywhere, and it was so hot, and I couldn't breathe. I don't remember how I made it out. I suppose I must have climbed. Maybe my arm is getting better after all. She's familiar. I'm thinking A, of the girl that actually gets pushed off. But then I'm also thinking of the girl that is involved in the custom deliveries quests for Charlemagne or Charlemont or whatever his name is. I mean, the one problem with kids is that they literally just have, like, I think one model for each. Like, there's one, like, Ellison girl, one Ellison boy, one Hero boy, one Hero girl, you know, like that. Or at least as much as I can remember. So, like, you have to actually remember their names, and as I've proven time and time again, I'm not that great with that. Ours was one of the first homes to be claimed, but I didn't see how the fire began. It was only when I heard our neighbors shouting that I looked outside and saw the flames. We barely escaped with the clothes on our backs. Were it not for the church's generosity, I don't know what we'd do. So my guess is the church is the one doing it and then using their quote-unquote generosity to sway people to their side. Okay. Okay, even further down. Oh, so I probably could have gone down across over there, so I went the long way. Again, I'm better at knowing, like, how to get from Aetheryte to commonly visited areas than I am actually, like, fully navigating. Finish then? Ah, there you are. Anything to share? We will require more than the muddled testimony of a traumatized girl if we are to identify the culprits. While you were questioning the refugees, we inspected the scenes of several of the fires, including one near St. Raymonad's cathedral and another near the tribunal. For a mercy, neither structure suffered significant damage. Some might say they were spared by the grace of the Fury. Others might question how such ruthlessly efficient arsonists contrived to fail so miserably on the two occasions when their target was a bastion of Ishgardian orthodoxy. Exactly. Nothing conclusive, of course, but it does give one cause to wonder. Alphino will doubtless have an opinion. Okay, and then back in the broom. Oh, it's downstairs, and I think this leads down into the broom. Yeah. Or at least it leads down. Oh, okay, it leads there. Looks like they found somebody captive. Good. Now that you are here, we can proceed with the interrogation. And we got Tataru as well. You should have seen the way Alphino tackled him. Silence will avail you not, sir. Ah, Lavenza, I was just about to summon you. As you can see, we have detained a suspect. We found this man loitering near the remains of one of the stricken buildings. According to eyewitnesses, he was also present before the fires broke out. We wished to have words. He did not, so we insisted. Let me go, damn it. You've got the wrong man. My, but you reek of oil. And are those burns on your hands? An occupational hazard, I suppose. But tell me, does arson pay well? I'm a victim, you imbecile. Look at me. Aye, that you are, after a fashion. You should know that your pious patron has already spun us a delightful yarn about how his pet mongrel slipped the leash and set about burning half the city to the ground. Not very noble of him, I grant you, but then these highborn types rarely do show loyalty to their pets. In fact, he called you rabid and begged us put you down. That's bollocks. He's the one who told me to keep going. Even a sinner such as me could find salvation in the Fury's work, he said. I'd left it behind, tried to, with all my heart. Said my prayers every day like a good man. But he came to me. He came to me. And there you have it, Hilda. Oh, and there you have it, Hilda. Would you be so kind as to escort our friend here to the congregation? Aye, so long as you don't mind if he's limping when he gets there. That was incredible, Thancred. But how did you know he would confess? Well, I have seen his like before, a troubled soul manipulated by men of power and wielded as a weapon. I could not be certain, of course, but given the stakes, I thought it worth the risk. And if our captive had called your bluff? Must we entertain hypotheticals? The world as it is vexing enough. Thank you, Thancred. Whether by luck or judgment, we have at last confirmed that these arsons were orchestrated by a person or persons of influence. I think it best that we now return to the congregation and discuss how best to proceed. Ah, yes, about that. Thank the 12 you've returned to us, but what happened to your old outfit? Well, she should know by now with what happened to Y'shtola. Pray return to the congregation of the whatever, whatever, whatever. Jokes, jokes, jokes. Our knights most heavenly, that's what it is. The temple knights are interrogating the arsonist as we speak. God's willing, we shall have more information ere long. If we could but determine the motive behind these fires. Bit of a gambler, ain't he? Fine by me, so long as his luck don't run out. On behalf of the Holy See of Ishgard, I thank you all. The man you apprehended is being interrogated as we speak. Though he fell silent upon realizing that we had not turned his master, he will soon tell us what he knows, one way or another. Pardon the intrusion, First Commander. Ah, Lord Artario, are you come to see your father? He is attending Sir Amaric in his chambers at present. I am. He bid me bring this salve. Then do not let me detain you, and thank you for your kindness, my lord. In times of trouble, every man must do his part. Would that I could do more. My lord Arturiel did not seem to be in the best of spirits. 'Tis little wonder, Master Alphino. His father is widely slandered, and his half-brother not yet cold in the grave. Jeez. Thank you all for watching this video. Heaven's Word has been amazing. I don't think I need to tell you this. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. It's just such a good story. I mean, at this point, I have to say definitively, the pacing and just the, I don't know, just intensity, that like how the story grips you is just so much better than A Realm Reborn. I don't take back that I enjoyed A Realm Reborn, though. I still really do enjoy it. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. And if you've been enjoying my playthroughs of it, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to join me live, the link to my Twitter is down below. Thank you again, and have a good one.